Yeah, it's your boy Ray on the mic. Let's go.
Now, belonging workplace culture doesn't just happen by happenstance. It is developed by design. And one of the ways to ensure that we develop a workplace culture where every identity belongs and thrives is that we have to ensure that it is infused with our mission, vision, and values. Too often, our DE&I initiatives are its own separate pillar, its own separate entity, has its own commitments, philosophies, characteristics, things of that nature. And where we see a disconnect is that while a lot of DE&I efforts that are creating some really phenomenal work, great discussions, creating that inclusive opportunities is not truly aligned or connected to what the whole organization is striving to accomplish within their own business, right? Especially in the nonprofit space where our nonprofits are designed to help service our communities and help rectify any type of injustice that's occurring through the services that they provide to to their to the people that they want to serve. But where we don't see it happens externally, but where we miss it is happening internally through the relationships that are being built, through the connections that are being formed or not formed, and the lack of transparency or the lack of or the types of discrimination that employees experience and staff members experience or leaders experience when they are trying to externally put out great work, but not internally doing the same work inside their institution. So where our leadership needs to play a role is to make those connections, ensure that we as a group are reviewing our mission, vision, and values and holding it with a magnifying glass and really say, do these efforts align with our opportunity to become an anti-racist organization, our opportunity to become more inclusive, our opportunities to become more, to create a belonging culture within our workspace where our staff members truly feel that and see that tangibly within their spaces. So you have to take some time to really reflect and see how those words that are in the strategic document or on your wall somewhere, how are you taking those words and looking at them closely and having the dialogue and honestly tough conversation to say whether or not you live up to those ideals and whether or not those ideals or those values are aligned with what it means to be an anti-racist, what it means to restore justice and advance equity for your organization and for your people. What does it mean to create belonging within that workspace? And those types of efforts really take some time to personally reflect on where you stand when it comes to the mission, vision, values, and how you compare yourself to those things, and taking a hard understanding of what does it mean to become somebody who is somebody who's working to create a belonging workplace culture, and identifying where do you see yourself within that space, and then taking the next step further and engaging your peers and having a conversation to say, okay, what are we doing to ensure that these things are aligning? How are we creating an opportunity where those feel like they feel safe, heard psychologically within the workspace? And does that show up in the way that we are executing our mission externally? And those conversations are not one and done conversations. They are every day, constantly in your face, reviewing those things just to make sure that you're holding yourself to the ideals that you set. And that does take some time to bring it up into your meetings, to bring it up in your one-on-ones, to have quarterly discussions with yourselves and others, to every year when you're doing strategic planning, that you are constantly reviewing to see that you are measuring yourself to the values that you set, and that you're constantly gathering feedback and measuring it and measuring belonging in a way that can reflect to see if it is aligning with the values and the mission and vision of your organization. So as we are creating a belonging workplace culture, we have to ensure that we are ready to do that critical analysis of ourselves. If we are meeting up to those ideals, we have to do a critical analysis of the mission and vision of our organization and see if creating belonging is aligned with that work effort. And we have to have the conversations with others to make sure that we are doing the work necessary. And if we're not, ready and willing to make the changes necessary within ourselves or in our structure so that belonging happens by design within our organization institution. So I want to hear from you. What are some of the ways that you are, or how are you aligning your efforts to create a belonging workplace culture within your organizational structure? How are the conversations been? Where are some wins? What are some barriers you're having with that? And how can I help? There's a link in the bio that leads to a evaluation form. There's a link in my bio that leads to an intake form where we can start the conversation and create a consulting call to talk through how do we infuse DE&I, infuse belonging within your workspace, and what are the efforts that you are doing and what are the efforts that you can do to make sure that you're creating a belonging workplace culture by design. Let me know what y'all think about these Belonging by Design episodes where we give tangible tips of creating a belonging workplace culture in about 5 minutes. And I would love to hear what your thoughts are, how you're implementing these efforts, or what some topics that I can help share within this space. So that way you can be a belonging leader, so you can create belonging through your leadership in your organization. Continue to share your story with others. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.